Hello everybody and welcome to another crafting adventure. Now before I begin this, I just want to apologise for kind of a long absence. This has been due to a rather unbelievable workload which is almost done, and well, which is why I have some time today to do a crafting kit. And originally I had planned to do the bear bead kit with a bit of a guide on how to do it, but unfortunately I seem to have misplaced that for the moment, but fingers crossed I can get one soon, and I'll do that one as soon as possible. Instead, I have decided, ta-da, we are going to do the cat bead kit. Now this is the most difficult of the series of 6 at 3 stars, but I think it should be no real problem. And as with the panda, I'm going to try and do this in 2 stages. The first for the head and the second with the body. And as always, to begin with these, take everything out of the packet and whoosh, organise it into your box. You can use anything, and I often use this just because it was cheap and has lots of separate compartments. Then you got to take your string here and cut it to the length you need. And additionally, once you have cut this to the length you need, you got to colour the ends. One blue, one red. Doesn't really matter which one you colour, but the instruction book in here does indicate a red and a blue, and it makes it significantly easier to follow if you do it the same way. So, let's get started. First things first, measured out the string. I went for 110 centimeters. It does recommend 100, but I like to give a little bit of leeway, about 10%, just in case I make a little bit of a mistake. And for stage 1, you will need the following, very small, 3 white or 3 clear beads and 1 pink one. The pink one is very important as this is the cat's nose, so the placement is key. Now, the first 3 beads on it should look like this. And you really want to try and get this bead in the center of the string as best as possible. Then you want to cross the strings through the 4th bead, and it should look something like this. Now with this one, you can really pull the strings tight to get the other beads in the center, and this is key. Once you have this in the center, or once you're satisfied it's in the center, all you have to do from here is repeat this stage 11 times. Obviously you don't have to add this bead each time, just you're adding 3 each time, but 11 times and it should create a nice long line. The cat is a little bit more difficult than the other animals though, because it does require the nose, 2 cheeks and 2 eyes, meaning you have to be careful where you place them. And just for future reference, I'm going to call this bead here in the center bead, because that will be very useful later on. Now, looking at the instructions, what we're doing here is we're actually building the outer ring. So we've got the 4 here with the circle nose. The next time the strings cross, we want 1 eye. Then we add a cheek. And then we go all the way around until we come to the 11th time they cross, and we add another eye. Oh, and a cheek beforehand. And hopefully it should come out as a perfectly straight line, looking like this. Yes, you can see we have the 11 crosses across the middle there. The 2 eyes, 1 was the 2nd, 1 was the 11th, and the cheeks and the nose. Oh, this is the nose and these are the cheeks. Now, to get to the next stage, we have to think of it kind of like the cheeks are on the bottom and this line is on the top, because that makes it easier to remember. Additionally, if you did colour it, the bottom one should be red. So, red's on the bottom and blue is on the top. Now, the way to create the circle, if this will focus, the way to create the circle from here, obviously, is to wrap it around itself like so. Bring this red string through the center bead, which was the first one that we put on, and then cross it through this bead here to create the whole ring. Now, once you've done it, it should look something like this. Obviously later it's stuffed with wool, so it gives it a little bit more shape, and the last bead here on the top is where it crosses, as opposed to the earlier ones on the side. Now, if you want to follow the blue-red theme, the red should be here on the right and the blue is on the left. Now, to actually create the dome shape on the top, it's very similar to this, just with one little change. Now, you can see these work in sets of 4. You have one on the bottom, one on the top, and one on either side. So the next layer, simply, rather than adding one on the bottom, you use the top of this one as the bottom, and then you only add one on the top if it's, just double checking, if it's blue. So whenever the blue string is on the top, you add one, and whenever the red string is on the top, you don't. So you simply thread through the bottom, cross it, add one, through the bottom, cross it, don't add one, and go all the way around till you come back to the beginning. The difficult part of the cat is the cat has grey, orange and white beads at this part, so just be careful which ones should be grey and which ones should be orange. Just for your reference, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grey ones, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orange ones, just for this second ring here. The last few we'll look at once this is done, because, well, it's pretty much the same, just on a smaller scale. Okay, let's see if we can get that working. This is the kind of shape you should be looking for. You can notice now that it's twice as thick as it was before, but on the top it seems to have points rather than a smooth finish like on the bottom. This is because, as I said earlier, only the blue string has had the additional bead added, where the red one has had nothing. This means that now, from the original 11, the top only has 6 points. And again, only the blue bead gets the extra one, which will reduce it to 3, and then you simply wind it and tie them up to get the whole thing closed. So all you have to worry about with the cat, though, is which beads are grey, which beads are white, and which beads are orange. Here's the instructions to help. So we've done this, and we're just working on this little bit here. You can see there are 6 circles, and then the last one is just 3 single beads. So we're gonna start from here, because you might notice again that even though all the way around it crosses on the side piece, on the last bead it crosses on the top to allow them both to go up to the next level. Okay, I'll get this done and see if there are any major issues. And this is what it should look like once all 4 layers have been done. The original equal one, the next one where 1 has been removed each time on the top, and so on and so forth, with the final 3 on the top not needing any additional beads, just winding the blue through the one and the red through the other, and, well, coming out like this. Now, all of these animal kits have the same to this point. All of the heads are the same circular shape. The only difference is the colour. This one has been the most difficult simply because it uses so many different colours, but so long as you either count the number of beads you need at each stage or just pay very close attention to the instructions, you should have no trouble there. The major differences with this one, on most of the other ones you actually have to cut the string here, tie it obviously first and then cut it and then get a new piece for the ears, but here we're just tying this one and then adding the ears to it. Now, oh dear, the ears often look the most perplexing of all the stages, But like the other ones, if you just follow the arrows, you can see the ball here represents where you tied the previous stage, and then you just got to bring the red one around and through the ears and so forth, and the blue one the same on the other side. Now these green ones here represent these green ones from the earlier stage, which here it looks a bit, well, complicated. But if you look at the actual model, it's the 3 center ones and then the few either side there on the front. Sometimes I find it's easier to check the picture on the front of the packet to see where the ears lie, because you can see they're never quite in the center, so that's always an option. So let's see if I can figure out how to do these properly. After much investigation, I have kind of followed what you need to do for the ears here. Now we have the red and the blue on the top. The red is coming out of this grey one here. Yeah, I'm going to use a pen because my fingers are too big. The red one, if we can get some focus, thank you, is coming out of this one here. It's going to go around through these 2 orange ones, back through the same one again, down through this one here. Then we're going to add 2 beads. So it should look something like that, coming out slightly off to the side there with the blue string in the way. Now once you're at this stage, you want to put it back through the other side of the bead it's going through on the bottom and through this bead here, and add 2 more beads. And it should look something like this, with the 2 beads on the top there. From here, the red piece then will go back through this bead here and this bead here, and then you will take it back again through these 2 and add 1 more bead. It should look something like this. From here, all you need to do is thread the string back through the original bead that you added for the ear, through this bead at the front, this one, and then back through this orange one here. So it should be in the same position as the star, and then you're done with the red one. And from there, just do the complete opposite with the blue one, and obviously use orange beads instead of grey ones, and fingers crossed it will give you something like this. Yes, you can see that we've now got an orange ear and a grey ear, and they are exact mirror images of each other. So, as I said, if you just do the opposite with the orange beads as you did with the grey ones, you should be fine. And also, don't forget to add the star, because it's very useful for adding a chain. And once you got to this point, tie it up in a knot, 1 or 2 knots will be alright, and then reweave it through a few of the beads and cut it shorter. And that is how you do the first part of this kit. In the second video, we'll look at doing the chin and the body, because that takes a lot less time, it uses fewer beads, and is surprisingly easier than this bit. So, fingers crossed everything will be okay, and please look forward to that video. I will put it up soon.